Warning. The audio gets a little wonky in some places. Your awesome hosts have no idea why. They tried to fix it. They recorded this 3 times actually. It must be goblins. It is still a good episode that you should listen to, because Nash and Tiff rock. And are incredibly humble. Enjoy.
We are back with another spooky snack, and it occurs to me that that rhymed, and I didn't mean for it to. You totally made that up for those of you who are new and have stumbled upon us. And I'm Nash.
And I'm Tiff. Hello, friends, new and old.
And this is, like I say, it's a spooky snack. And these are short little episodes where we don't care if we have to go with stuff like the legend says or this is how the lore goes. We just want fun little stories to tell you guys. So they can be urban legends, they can be cryptids, they can be, well, what we want them to be, first and foremost, is sourced from you guys. That's how we get these things. So if you want to tell us about some monster that's rumored to haunt your hometown, or if you want to tell us stories from your family, if you want to tell us things that have happened to you or to your neighbor or to a friend, we don't have to know the difference. You can lie. You can say it happened to you. We'll never know. One quick thing to tell you guys though, if you wait for a second after we tell you goodbye, there's going to be a little outro, and it'll tell you everywhere that you can find us on social media and how you can contact us and submit your own stories. So let's get started. For this spooky snack, the theme is going to be stuff that grabs you. And that's all I'm saying. The rest is going to have to be a surprise. You're going to have to wait and see. So we've got a listener suggestion and then a listener personal story for you. And both of them are pretty chill worthy. So Tiff's going to get us started off.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. This one comes from Sam. So Sam sent us a ton, and we're going to keep a lot of that in our files for later. But here's a little bit of what was written in. And once again, we're in Ohio. So thank you, Ohio, for giving us so much to work with. We totally appreciate it. Okay, so Sam says, I was just thinking about some local cryptids as I was re listening to an episode of the podcast. Re-listening, thank you, and wanted to pass them along to you. I'm not sure if any of my fellow Ohioans or Ohioites, whatever we're calling them, have suggested them, but here goes. The main one I wanted to suggest is the Crosswick Monster. Thanks so much for the amazing podcast and keep up the fantastic work. Well, thank you for that. We're trying. All right, so here's the info that we've got to share. And it comes from a couple of newspaper articles. So those are going to be linked back at the show notes. Of course, check that out. One of them is actually partially a reprint of what they say is, quote, Crosswick Monster, a public domain title published in 1968 by the Warren County Historical Society. Then it appears in that source, they're actually relating a newspaper article from around the time of the incident because it says, quote, the following newspaper story has been of interest for almost a century. So it's like triple sourced on this. So this takes place in May of 1882 in Crosswick, which I hope you figured out from the creature's name. Crosswick was this village that's located outside of Waynesville in Warren County, Ohio. Apparently, the area was pretty used to snakes because it's up against the banks of the Miami River, but they note that there had been talk about these snake tracks left in the dirt that was of, quote, unusual size. Kind of makes me think of the ROSs. Anyways.
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist. Bam!
So, a resident of the town by the name of John Lynch had 2 sons, Ed and Joe. They were 11 and 13 years old, respectively. They were at a creek fishing when they heard a rustling in the reeds. And of course, being curious kids and little boys, they go and they check it out. They start screaming and running because they've seen some huge thing that's kind of a snake, but also kind of a lizard. And I'll tell you a little bit more specifically in just a second, but it's coming after them. And it's coming fast, and it gets to the oldest boy first. So, quote, suddenly throwing out 2 long arms or forelegs, seized the boy in its slimy embrace, simultaneously producing 2 more legs about 4 feet long from its body, and dragged the boy some 100 yards down the creek to a large sycamore, 26 feet in diameter at the base, hollow, and with a large opening in one side. Through this aperture, the monster attempted to enter with the boy. So there were 3 men nearby: the Reverend Jacob Horn, George Peterson, and Alan Jordan. They were up the creek a little bit and they came running because of all of the screaming going on. And they see this thing trying to drag the kid Joe away. And apparently now it's sunk its teeth into him, because it says that when the men got to the tree, that the thing, quote, became alarmed, unfastened its fangs, and dropped the more than half dead child to the earth. Then it says that a local doctor named Dr. Lukens was immediately called. So now we're getting up to 4 witnesses, plus the kid who was hurt, who can actually say that this happened. Then it says that about 60 men geared up with clubs and axes and other weapons that they thought of to use. They brought dogs with them. They all go down to this big sycamore tree and they start hacking at it with the axes. And when this thing comes out, here's what they saw. Quote, it is described as being 30 to 40 feet long, 12 to 14 feet tall when erect, 16 inches in diameter, and legs 4 feet long. So it's covered with scales like a lizard's, of black and white color with large yellow spots. Its head is about 16 inches wide, with a long forked tongue, and the mouth inside deep red. The hind legs appeared to be used to give an erect position its propelling power in its tail. Then they say that, quote, with the velocity of a racehorse, it crossed the creek, ran up a small hill, climbed over a fence, breaking it down, and continued north a mile until reaching a hole in a large hill under a heavy ledge of rocks. So this thing took off pretty fast. And I'm just really impressed that they were able to kind of keep up with it and see where it ended up.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. How did they Anyway, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, we're going with it. I mean, there's a lot of people there and they're talking about this. So we weren't there. All right. So now, of course, counting the kids, counting the 3 men who were there on site immediately. Now, all these people that were gathered to try and hunt this thing, we're looking at 64, 65 people that were eyewitnesses to whatever this event was, whatever this creature was. One article noted that, of course, there's the doctor, Dr. Lukens, there's the Reverend Horn. So they're respectable people in this community. And then a couple of the other people that showed up, George Peterson and Alan Jordan, they were also considered pretty trustworthy and respectable too. Now, Joe, the boy that was gripped by this creature, he had some injuries, but they were described as minor, so non-fatal. There were cuts, there were bruises. And Dr. Lukens told the Cincinnati Enquirer, quote, that the boy was in severe shock and had some spasms and convulsions. And one of the articles said that he later left the state because of the constant inquiries about his experiences. Which, yeah, people want to know.
Well, and I mean, we don't know why he left. That's a big assumption, to me at least. And he was 14, so did he just take off? I'm done. See ya.
Right. I don't know. I don't blame him. Personally, I'm probably leaving the state because there's a giant freaking lizard creature that's living there. That's my motivation for getting out of town.
That's fair. Well, so, okay, theories. What do we think it was?
I'm not sure. Part of me wants to think that maybe it's some kind of alligator or crocodile that made it, kind of far inland.
That's because that's what I'm thinking and to me, okay, if this was Alabama or Mississippi or Georgia, I would think that something crazy came up via Florida. You know what I mean? But this is really inland. I mean, Ohio.
Right.
But having said that, for that reason, to me, if they saw some sort of weird crocodile, alligator, whatever, even more surprising. And if it was moving as fast as they say, It's just there's some really damn specific description. Like they had inches and feet and
That's very true. Maybe it's like Nessie's cousin. Or where is Lake Champlain? Isn't that in Ohio too? Or is that
I don't think so. Should we pause for a Google?
like you know what I'm talking about? There's like Champ.
Right.
It's like a Loch Ness monster of the United States.
Are you to where you can Google that? My computer will freak if I try to Google
Yeah,
it.
I'll Google it.
Because now I gotta know.
Oh no, that's like way off. It is up by like Vermont and New York.
I was about to say I thought it was more north.
But you know, it's still maybe
No.
no.
It's not Nessie. It's not a Nessie cousin. I'm gonna go, yeah, crocodile or alligator. Because another thing too, in terms of how it got there, to be sure, back then there were cases like there are now of people having exotic pets and they get tired of them and they just let them loose in a river or a lake or something.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I saw an episode of River Monsters and there was like these giant salamanders and it was actually showed that they could like grab kids and drown them.
Get out.
Yeah, I swear to God. It was in like Japan, I want to say.
Oh, well.
But you know, like you said, exotic pets, maybe something similar to that.
So we don't know is the bottom line. We have no idea, and we're not going to research this more. So listeners, if you have a theory, if you have an idea, we didn't go down the road of researching, what guesses were. I feel like though that would have come up because with all of our stuff, when we look into it, if there's typically ideas and theories for what people think something might be, at least thus far. So I feel like that's something that would have come up when we looked into this. So maybe they don't have any guesses either.
Maybe.
That's why it's a mystery. Well, if you guys have any ideas, holler. We're going with alligator, crocodile, salamander thing.
That sounds good to me.
It's not as catchy as, what is it? I've forgotten already. What is it called?
Crosswick monster.
The Crosswick monster. It's not as catchy. Ours isn't. That's all right.
So Nash, what have you got going on for this spooky snack?
I have a wonderful listener story. This is a friend of mine named Trisha, and she had told me this story when on my blog I had put out the call for something to the effect of, tell me the creepiest thing that's ever happened to you, the scariest thing that's ever happened to you. And I didn't mean like, almost getting in a car wreck or getting kidnapped or something like that. I just meant generalized creepy type stuff. And my stars did Trish deliver. Myself and everybody who read it, we were jaw dropped. And so I don't think I'm overselling this. I hope that you all have the same reaction. Here's Trisha's story. So when I was 16, there was this house just off my friend's property that everyone said was haunted. We had sleepovers at said friend's house and would drink cheap wine coolers and get a thrill when we would see a light come on in the upstairs of this falling down wood monstrosity. We decided, by this I mean drunkenly decided, that we were going to explore this place and talk all this shit to her brothers who were always talking a big game about how they went on the porch one time. Let me preface this with the fact that I grew up rehabbing old houses with my dad. This was not my first rodeo with dilapidated structures. Well, we walk a mile or so down to it and start messing around on the porch, taking pictures with a disposable camera I brought. I talked Sarah into going inside. The walls were smeared with this dark brown flaky shit that looked like blood but could have been mud for all I know. That's when I found out the stairs to the second floor had collapsed. It was literally impossible to get up there. But there had been a light on during our walk up. No biggie, drunk Trisha thought. Then I fell through the fucking floor. I caught myself on my elbows and managed somehow to not go completely through, but I was stuck. Sarah went to get her dad, and I hung there kinda hurting, but mostly pissed at myself, until a hand closed over my foot and started pulling. I clawed up the floor to get away from it, but I couldn't get out. I was steadily being pulled down into the dark. Sarah's dad finally came after I'd lost a few fingernails and ripped me out of the floor with his son's help. He literally did not stop moving, dragging me out of the house with the same steam it took to get me out of that hole. My entire leg was clawed up, and I had bruises on my calf and ankle that would have lined up with a grasping hand. Also, Sarah's dad was fucking pissed. He was always telling us to stay the fuck away from that house. Afterwards, he set me up with a shot of whiskey and proceeded to chew our asses out for even stepping foot in there. What he said before finally going to bed stuck with me. I told you, Sarah. I told you that the house was wrong. You didn't believe me until it grew teeth.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's terrifying. And there was probably some evil, hellish spawn demon thing that was coming at her. That's where I'm going.
All right, that's the theory. That was my next question. What are theories?
Yeah, it's a hell spawn demon creature or the people under the stairs.
Excellent movie. Excellent movie. Highly recommend to everyone here in the Halloween season to watch that. I'm pretty sure it's early 90s. Watch it immediately.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in the theater and it definitely freaked me out. I can't remember much of the plot at this point, but I know it was freaky.
Yeah, I would classify it less horror. Yes, scary, but definitely creepy, freaky.
Yeah, I'm trying to like figure out what I don't even know. I mean, there's like so much going on there. Just the clawing. I mean, she lost fingernails.
Uh-huh.
That's
Which I hope means that they broke. I hope that's what she means, not that they literally got ripped out. And that's what I'm trying to. Okay, so yes, there was alcohol involved, but someone grabbing your leg, that's very distinct.
right. That's not like seaweed when you're in a lake. That's
Right.
very different. That's like, okay, I'm imagining something. There's a creature down there, what's not real. But a grip, that
And it's not like she saw something out of the corner of her eye or whatever, but the grip. That's where
yeah, that's a lot harder to imagine or explain away.
so here's the and I am stretching and I know I'm stretching. They saw lights on frequently at this place. If perhaps people were taking shelter there, homeless, transient, whatever term is most appropriate, I'm thinking if they knew that house well enough and, were there in the daytime, perhaps they knew how to navigate those rotten spots in the stairs to go upstairs because that's where the kids would always see the light on. And I don't know, maybe they rushed and hid in the basement or whatnot, or if there's some sort of storage up under the stairs. Who knows? Maybe they thought they were helping her. I'm aware this is a stretch, but I cannot get my brain wrapped around what it could possibly have been.
Let me help you by dragging you into this hole.
I know. A boost would be more appropriate. But, if I'm trying to think if I saw somebody hanging and it was far enough of a drop that they would break their ankle, if I could just get them to let go and fall into me and let me kind of break the fall. On the other hand, speak the hell up. Say, hey, girl, let us help you. You're going to break your ankle.
Maybe it was, what would be the opposite of the Batman?
Basement man.
Yeah.
You're right.
What would that be? A rat or a mouse?
Mouse man. Yes, we're referring to a past episode. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, you need to be listening. Why are you not listening? So here's what I told Trish. The first thing I said was immediately, this needs to be a short story, which she later did. And second thing I said was...
And now, a very special message from Nash.
Boy, that was a really weird cut where the audio wasn't corrupted to hell at all. And no, we didn't record this episode like 3 times. Plus the parts where we went back and redid certain places that I had to piece together in post. I've had plenty of sleep. I'm not mainlining coffee. And what do you mean the audio's been kind of odd the whole time? Listen. Just listen. If this is your first time with us, holy shit, Snacks, you're a trooper. I'd have pieced out of this way back. I have the attention span of a gnat, and if it sounds like ass, I'm out of there triple time. I implore you to listen to one of our other episodes because damn, we're better than this. I mean, this ain't half bad. I've listened to some real dogs out there in podcast land, and now I sound like a bitch, but I'm not naming names, am I? Plus, it's softened by my delicate voice. I'm aware it's not delicate. None of this matters. Here's what you missed. My stream of consciousness theory that I in no way believe in, but it's fun. I said that, obviously, we all know it was alternate dimension or time travel Trish trying to save her own self from Sarah's brothers who were the actual monsters. Or Sarah was the monster. Or both. But not really, because they'd been replaced. Turned out it was some real shady changeling shenanigans. Hell, maybe it's the real Sarah's family who were under the stairs and they were trying to hide Trish from the changeling versions. Okay, back to the rest of the episode. I'm off to find some wine. And see, now I've gone down a really weird rabbit hole.
Yes, you have. You certainly have. This is very Doyle-ish.
What is that?
Like Arthur Conan Doyle, because he's just such a freaking weirdo and he believes
Oh.
everything.
Oh, I don't believe a word I'm saying. I'm kind of actually, I'm crafting a short story. Somebody write that. There you go. Free idea. I'm giving it away. Girl goes into a house, falls through the stairs, gets grabbed. Turns out it's herself saving herself. Hell, I might write it. Who knows? Yeah, I'm going to write it. You guys can't have it anymore. I take that back.
It kind of sounds like that part in Harry Potter. Did you read Harry Potter? Were you beyond that? Is that not interesting?
I've seen all the movies.
Okay, so when they spoilers, I guess. When they go back in time, she's got the time turner and she's got to go back to save Buckbeak. And then they see themselves and they have to save themselves and she throws the rock at Harry's head. No? Not ringing any bells?
Vaguely. There are vague bells going off.
Okay. Well, that's kind of what it reminds
Mine's
me
better.
It is. Yours is...
Not to disparage JK, but it's because it's got the freaky scary element to it. Yeah, this is totally my story. You guys can't have it.
Get ready for a Nash story.
Exactly. What have we learned? We've learned that alligator, crocodile, salamander monsters could be in Ohio. We've learned that if you're lit on wine coolers, don't go to the haunted house that's fallen apart.
Yeah, that's a good plan. Maybe if you're going to get lit, choose something better than wine coolers too. But that's just, that's grown-up advice.
That's an excellent point. If you're of age, listeners, if you're of age, of course.
I don't know. I want to encourage people to not go chasing after the weird sounds and the weird houses, but then where would we be?
Yeah. We are on the horns of a dilemma. We neither encourage nor discourage. We are neutral.
Try to survive so you can tell us the story. How about that?
Yeah. If you do, write us immediately. And don't forget, after we say goodbye, which we are going to do in mere moments, hang tight and you're going to hear where to go to do such. Our social media is fun. You guys need to come follow us because we switch it up. We've got kind of one thing going on at Tumblr, one thing going on at Instagram, another thing going on at Twitter. I mean, of course, we let you know when the new episodes come out. Of course, that part's going to be the same. But otherwise, we switch it up quite a bit so that you're not seeing the same thing over and over and over again.
This is true. Each social media platforms has its platforms. Whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. Whatever. They've got their own kind of almost theme going. I like it.
Little jam. That's right. And the next episode's going to be a full one. And then you're going to get another spooky snack, which is Tiff going on her adventure. And then after that, there's another full one on Halloween itself. It doesn't get much more perfect than that. I think you guys are going to enjoy them. We've had them planned out for forever. I really think you're going to get a kick out of them all.
Yeah, there's a little bit of something for everyone. And they're really fun Halloween, spooky, weird, crazy topics. So I know that we're enjoying it.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, there's going to come a time where we talk Mary Shelley and Frankenstein and we'll talk Bram Stoker and Dracula, but this ain't the time. That's a little too, dare I say, typical. And not to cast aspersions upon others who might be going down those roads because they're great. They're great stories. The stories behind the stories. They're fantastic. And like I say, to be sure, we'll do those at some point, but just not this month. We want to do some kind of different twisty things for you. Offbeat. So that's it though. That's this spooky snack. I think, my God, if both those stories didn't get after you in some way or another, I just don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say anything else. That's really all there is to it. Those were both.
That's all there is.
Those were creepy. And you guys, if you're not creeped out and you have something better than that, then gosh darn it, tell us because I need to know if there's something worse out there than salamander house monsters.
Yeah, Trisha's might be the one to beat. Feed us in the basement for creep factor. People under the stairs for shit your britches factor. So we've got contenders in various categories. So yeah, tell us your stuff. We want to know. We like these. All right, that's it for us. Stay spooky.
Bye.